Hey guys, it's Robin, RsIslandCrafts, and welcome to my craft room. This is my Whip It Wednesday video where I show you what I've worked on this week, whether I worked on it for just a couple minutes or it was my main focus for the week. I don't think I had too many main focuses, I just kind of dabbled a little. I am missing having my weekly baby quilt down here as a backdrop. I'm going to have to work on that for next week, so I definitely have another one. I could bring back one of the old ones, but that just kind of seems wrong because you've already seen them. I did 2 last week in order to give myself this weekend off so I can work on my string blocks. I worked on my string blocks. I got several done. I know I did 16 on Saturday while watching the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop's live stream. I've been working on these a little bit here and there throughout the week. I did some with the black and in the center, and I did some without the black in the center. And as you can see, I have not trimmed any of these up because I'm going to wait to do the video for you guys so I can show you how I trim them. It's not all that exciting. It's almost like trimming any other block, so it's not too difficult. There are just a couple little tips and tricks that sometimes you might not know, or sometimes you can tell me a tip or trick, right? Whew, there's a bunch. Did anyone count? I have no idea. But I got all these finished. I have some of them on my notebook paper, some of them on fabric, some of them are on the wrapping paper, and some are on batting. There's a phone book. I did decide that I think I prefer my notebook paper if I'm going to be doing it onto paper, but I really did enjoy putting it on batting too for a quilt as you go. The only thing with that is then I would need to use it specifically as a square. And as you've seen, I do like to do the half square triangles and make different patterns with it. So unless I'm specifically making a string quilt, I will probably go ahead and not do it on batting. So there, I guess you could say this was my main project for the week. I've also finished my shawl. Woohoo! Now, if you want to see this all in its glory, pop back to yesterday's Talk to Me Tuesday, because I do that when I'm filming at myself instead of down below, and I was able to show it to you and stretch it all out and show you that way so you can see what it looks like. This is going to, see, it starts up here, and you put this over your back, across your shoulders, and then it flows all the way down, and it goes down past my bum. So you can, technically, you would probably be sitting on this if you were to sit down, but you know how they fluff out of the way. So you go ahead and you put this across. Of course, you're going to wear it around your back. You can do the thing where you wrap it around your neck and stuff like that, but this is mainly for, it's a large shawl, so it's mostly to be worn as a shawl over your shoulders, and it goes down your back, and it covers your rear end a little bit. So you got the straight gray that grows across your back. You have to excuse my ends. I have not woven anything in yet. And it goes down into this scalloped feather and fan old shale border. So I thought this was really nice. Now the original design called for a lot more of this pink through here, but they were also using a thinner yarn. They were using more like a sock yarn, which you would knit on maybe a size 2 or 3 needles. And I knit this probably, I think I knit this on a 7 or 8. So it's going to make your shawl that much larger because I wanted a larger shawl and I wanted it to be warmer for my friends. So I went ahead and used a Caron Simply Soft, which is a worsted weight. So the sock yarn is a number 1 yarn, and the worsted is a number 4. And 4 is larger than 1, even when you're dealing with yarns and stuff. So that just kind of gives you a little idea of the difference in sizes. So this, I could have gone more. This was 1 skein of pink. If I wanted to do more, I would have had to bought another skein. And then I think at that point, it probably would have been too long. Because this shawl has a decent amount of stretch to it because it's garter stitched. So you see, you can really stretch it out a little. I'm going to go ahead and do a little wet blocking on this and maybe hit it with steam. Arnie and Carlos show a way that they do over in their country when they do their sweaters and stuff, even with wool and things like that, they actually use a steam iron to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that a little bit. You can do it a little with acrylic. You just have to be careful so you're not actually ironing on it, but you can give it a little steam. I've also found that if I just go ahead and hand wash it, I can stretch it out and pin block it or just let it stretch, and then it'll pull these down. As you saw, I can pull these down just a little bit more, and I can have these really be dramatic down here, and then once it dries it'll stay that way. Now, one of the good things about the acrylic yarn is it's got great wear and tear to it. Caron Simply Soft holds itself really well, and it goes through the washer and dryer nicely. Now, you will get a little bit of a fuzzy halo type to it. Let me see. Can you see how it's a little fuzzy right through here? Now, and that's perfectly okay, because yarns do that. A lot of times wool will do that also. Red thread everywhere. So that is done. I am so happy to have this off the needles. It's probably going to be a whole couple days before I cast on my next shawl. But I do have another shawl for a different friend to make. So I'll be casting that one on soon too. But the difference is her shawl has a lot of things going on in here. This whole section here was just garter stitch, just knit, 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 knit. And it does tend to drag on after a while, especially when you have so many stitches on the needle. If you're just doing one of those shawls that you wear like a scarf, those go kind of quick, even with all the knit stitches. So while I love to make shawls, and this one, it's definitely worth it. I think maybe if I were to make this one again, I would change up here a little bit. Maybe I would add some fun texture into there. Maybe I do some of, I don't know, maybe just do it in a stockinette stitch where you knit one side and purl the other, and just a little bit of sections there to give it a little bit. Add some eyelet rows in there, a little bit of lace, something. And I would definitely shorten this gray area and not knit as many rows here so that I can have more of this. Because like I said, if I added more of this, then it's going to be hanging down below her knees, and that's just a little bit too much. Then you're really definitely wearing what they're calling a slanket. It's a shawl that's like a blanket, and I don't think she needs anything that big. I don't want to have any problems with her getting hooked on things or sitting on it, stretching, tearing, whatever. So I think next time if I were to do this again, by the way, this is the Beach Bum shawl. It is linked in my Ravelry, which is always down in the description box. This had 64 rows, I believe, of the gray. I think I would definitely drop it down to 32 so that I can add more of this pink. I love this transition here where you go from the pink and the gray together. I'd like to make that a lot larger and then have more of this little scalloped pink border on the end there. But that's done. I have to weave in the ends and give it a bath, and then it'll be ready. Oh, here's where I was last week. I didn't have to do too much, mostly because I ran out of yarn. I've already gone ahead and put away the leftover ball of yarn, but it was only about this big. It wasn't enough to do one more row even. I would have gotten stuck about 3/4, if not halfway through, and had to pull it back out. And this is what it looks like on the back, so you can choose which way you like that gray. So if you want a little extra gray, so it's more blurred here than it is on this side. I kind of like this side better, but to each his own. You know, she can wear it either way that she likes. Half the time, if you throw it on your back, you're not even paying attention to what's back there anyway. I am coming up to being 3 weeks behind now, as of this past Monday. I'm recording this on Sunday, so as of tomorrow on Monday, I will be 3 weeks behind on my hand-stitched quilt along, but that's okay. I plan on catching up this week, now that I don't have that shawl to worry about. I have made all of the flying geese for this one block. This, I believe, is block 6, maybe 7. I'm not sure. Either way, it'll get done this week. I'm hoping to get it done today. I just have the rest of these. I have a pinwheel in the center to do, and I have 4 half square triangles in the corner. So this is basically going to be something like this, where there will be a pinwheel in the center, and then all these corners are half square triangles, because those are going to go pretty quick. And then I did have all of these leftover pieces, because when you trim, because we're doing the thing where you put your square here, and then you stitch along it, and you have to trim that extra off, that way of doing a flying geese, or goose. So I have all these little extra bits left over, so I'm going to have to find something when I'm done with this project to do something fun with all these little bits that are left over. Whoop. All of these little bits that are left over. Those are the pieces I need to sew together. So I'm going to find something. I'll figure out something, because these are all batiks, and I'm not going to throw those away. They're already cut into little triangles. I'll figure out something fun. Now, I think I showed you the Santa hat last week, but I did not put a marker in it to where I was. I'm sure I was probably somewhere here in the red, so I did put some more rounds onto this. I am actually at the decrease part, so I'm starting to close up the top. So this hat's almost finished, and then I'll be able to cast on the second one. And there's what the hat's going to look like. This is the top this. I picked these up at Joann's on the after Christmas sale. And I'm making those for my daughter's little, what are they? Little godsons. It's cute little adorable twin. I think they're 2 now, 2-year-old boys. So one of the things that I did spend some time on, I took this with me to a few places last week. This sock was down here at the toe. So I went ahead and I got that knit all the way up that way. It's probably halfway done on the foot already. And I didn't do anything with this one. Oh, I did do like 2 or 3 rows on this sock. So as you can see, I'm knitting them concurrently and they almost match. This one has a little bit more purple on the toe. So it's probably just going to be off by a row or 2, so that would drive some people mad and crazy, but I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. Maybe one foot is a couple rows longer than the other foot anyway, my actual foot. So we'll see. They're looking really good. I love the way the colors are turning out. And this is the Knit Picks Felici. And I like to knit my socks. As you can see, I knit a magic loop. That just means I can knit them around in a circle, and I only use this one set of needles. I have really long ones, 42-inch ones, because I used to knit my socks, 2 of them on the same needle at the same time, but it just I can do 2 at a time magic loop. It's just as you're knitting here, you don't want to stop. You have to knit all the way across both socks before you set it down. Where while I'm knitting on this one, I only have to get through the 30 stitches and then I can set it down. So I find that this actually goes quicker for me and I can pick it up for just 5 minutes and set it down, where when I'm knitting them both at the same time, I find that I have to sit down for a good half hour to actually work on the socks. So it takes longer to knit them for me that way. Some people can knit magic loops super, super fast though. I guess it all just depends on your schedule and your routine and how you craft. Now my last project is the log cabin mitts, and this is what they're going to look like when they're actually turned into mitts. I have finished the first one. It doesn't look like a mitt yet because there's something fancy you do where you put it around like this, and then you knit up here and you put your thumb in, and then you knit around the top and you do something around the bottom maybe, I don't remember. But there's the first one. And then there's the second one. Now the colors, while all the yarns are the same, we kind of change up where we put our colors a little bit. I have the light gray is my main color through here. And in this one we bring in more of this tan brown color. So those 2 are going to be cruising along. I'm hoping to get them done soon. So that's really it for me this week. As you can see, I only dabbled in a couple little projects. I didn't have time to do any of my fun stuff where I can spend a whole day working on all my projects again. I'm getting close to having that type of a week. I'm trying to juggle things around and fit things in where I can. Because even though you have crafting, I have to take Rob out 5 days a week to get his IV therapy or his chemo treatment. And they trick you because the IV therapy, they're like, it only takes an hour and a half for the bag of the IV fluid to be dispersed into your body, right? So you're like, oh, an hour and a half, that's great. But, so you have to leave your house and get there, and you have to get home, so that's time, right? You got to get ready and all that stuff, so that's a little bit of time. But when we go there, we're there for 3 to 4 hours. Because it takes a while to get checked in, it takes a while before they access his port, and then before they actually bring the fluids to him. So it's a long process. So they tell you it's only an hour and a half out of your day, but really you're talking like a 4-hour time between traveling and actually being there. So they lie. They're little tricksters. So I'm trying to figure out how, because that takes up our whole afternoon. We usually do that around the 1:30 time. So I have to do things in the morning. I have to get all my chores done. Then I have to figure out what crafts I can work on in that short amount of time. Because a lot of times, you have to spread things out and you really get into it. And then you're like, oh, well, it's time to stop to have lunch because then we're going to go after lunch. So I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not having that big Sunday where I can just sew all day long, but that's okay. I can adjust. I am flexible. I will figure it out. It just might take me a few weeks. But I kind of have a feeling that once I do figure it out, that they're going to switch it up on me again. Because that's just how life goes, right? It's okay. We do what we have to do, and we adjust to life the way it needs to be adjusted for. It is what it is, right? I've received some wonderful cards this week. I'm sorry guys, I took a little bit before I could get to my post office, so these were around, I picked, a lot of these probably showed up since maybe Valentine's Day, and it took me about 3 weeks before I actually got to the post office to pick them up. So I'm really sorry if these had sat there for very long, but I did receive some beautiful cards. Some thinking of you cards. And look at this one. This one is really pretty, and I was like, that looks like it's kind of hand painted, even though it's a reprint. The original looks like it was hand painted. So what I did is I flipped it over, and it is an untitled watercolor painted by young Simon Jerucham while hiding in France during the Holocaust. So this came from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. So this is definitely a card that I'm going to save, and I'll probably put this one into a frame, because that's what it is. It's a piece of art. Now, some of it has been cut off because it didn't get, you know, sometimes when you have a bigger picture than what will fit in there, and that's perfectly fine. Things like that do not bother me at all, because you can't get the vase and the pictures in at the same time, and it's probably if they shrunk it down it wouldn't work. But I will go ahead and I will frame this and hang that up in my craft room, so thank you. So I also received a postcard. This one took a little bit to get to me. It had a bit of a travel, so it took a little while, from Newfoundland and Labrador. You got the different animals that are in that area, and look at the size of these buildings. I wouldn't mind living on this corner house right here, because if, like, well, there's a door there and a, oh, that's a window. Okay, so this is probably one person's house. Now that would be fun, because you have the street view and the view from both sides. And then, I don't know, maybe you might lose a little in the backyard. I don't know what the backyards of these row houses look like, but these are really nice. We've lived in a row house that looked like this before, but it was really narrow and tall. It was only 2-story, but it had each apartment house was really narrow. But I thought that was really kind of cool. That way you have a nice little community there, as long as, you know, you have nice neighbors. So thank you so much. And with this card came this beautiful postcard. Look at the cardinal. It's all glittery. I have not taken it out of its wrapper at all. I don't want to open it up and get anything on it. But isn't that so pretty? I'm going to definitely have to get a frame for this too. Look at the stitches that go all around. The buttonhole stitches, it looks like. Yeah, so the cardinal's got all kind of sparkly on it. I love the way that she set it off to where it's not like all even and within the square and everything like that. And then this has the stripes of this glittery silvery cream color. So this is very beautiful. Thank you so much. This one will also get framed and get hung up into the craft room. I just need to get to the store and pick up some frames. I think I'm going to buy a bunch of them so that they will all match, while all the postcards inside can be different. That way all the frames are similar. I think that would be fun. So guys, thank you so much for thinking of me and for sending me these cards and the postcard, and then this beautiful postcard. I appreciate it. So that's what I've been working on this week. What have you guys been working on? I've been hearing about a lot of fun projects you guys have been doing down in the comments. If you're just watching the videos, you might want to come back every now and then and just check out the comments. Sometimes I'll watch a video and I'll come back the next day, or I'll watch the video a day late. You know, other people's video, not my own. I watch them the next day after they've been uploaded so that I can check out all the comments and see what everyone else has been working on and what they're chatting about. Sometimes the comments are just as fun as the actual video that I watched. So if you enjoyed watching what I've been working on this week, please go ahead and click that like button. And if you want to see more projects that I've been working on next week, or you want to do a little sew along with us, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And if you ring the little bell, YouTube will let you know when I put up new videos. Until next week, I'll see you then. Bye!